Hello and welcome to another Lakehead International Live. Today we are doing the Wednesday weekly admissions update. So that means we're joined by our undergraduate and graduate admissions teams. We'll be chatting about admissions updates. We'll be answering your admissions and application related questions. And also we of course have our international recruitment officer Patrick here with us as well, and he'll be answering general questions about Lakehead University. Before we dive into today's session, though, I wanted to chat a bit about what's been going on this past week and what's upcoming for the Lakehead International Live series. We still have plenty more sessions to cover and to share with you folks. So we're very excited to do that. Earlier on Monday, on the Monday meetup, we met up with Student Accessibility Services and we chatted about the supports and services that their department offers to all of our students here at Lakehead. Yesterday, we had a very special session with Jennifer Hay, our international immigration advisor, and she chatted all about new study permits, for new students, visas, traveling with your family, all of that sort of stuff. And that recording is already on YouTube. So I encourage anyone who might be interested in checking out that session. If you weren't able to join, that's already on our YouTube channel. Upcoming tomorrow, we'll meet up with Sharon. She's an alumni of the Faculty of Natural Resources Management. She graduated with environmental management for her undergrad, and then she continued on with Lakehead for her master's in forestry. So we're really excited to dive into kind of all those programs. And then on Friday, we'll be meeting up with Sustainability Sciences and chatting about program offerings within there, unique learning opportunities, research, all sorts of stuff. It's a typical Faculty Friday, and we're definitely excited to cover this one because we know it's an important and relevant course right now. And finally, Monday meetup for next week, we already have planned how to apply to on-campus residence. So we'll be meeting up with our residence team once again this year to chat about the actual application to residents and what that looks like, what the process is. We'll have screenshots from the application itself, so it will really help us walk through that process. Without further ado, though, we'll dive into today's webinar and the content I want to cover today. So things to remember: if you are looking to send us an email, you might hear one of our admissions officers request that you connect with them directly. The emails are listed on your screen. So undergraduate admissions is intl.admission@lakeheadu.ca, and graduate admissions is gstudent@lakeheadu.ca. If you do have questions and you're joining us over on Zoom, you can certainly ask those questions directly of us, and we'd be happy to either answer them behind the scenes or live. All you have to do is use the Q&A function. If you're joining us over on Facebook Live, you can comment on that video, and we'll also have our Lakehead experts behind the scenes answer those. And last but not least, of course, if you are watching this as a recording, you can certainly comment on the video, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Facebook, and we will get that notification, get back to you in a timely manner. And last but not least, of course, I always recommend people to follow us on our social media channels, Lakehead University International. We post regular updates about other events similar to this, so virtual events, recruitment events, all that sort of stuff, but we also post major announcements out of the university and sneak peeks into what university life is for our students. Going on from there, I'll flip over to the Q&A and we'll dive into some of the questions and answers that we've already started to receive. So the first question we have is, I have deferred for winter 2021, so when will I have to do the course registration? So because you weren't able to specify whether you're an undergraduate student or a graduate student, I will pass it over to Natalie to start off answering when students joining us in winter would typically register, and then I'll also have Sue in graduate studies follow up.
Great, thanks so much for your question. So that is still to be determined. Usually registration for the winter goes up at the same time as the fall. So that fall registration will be going up on Saturday. The course timetable will be released tomorrow, and then registration will start on Saturday. Usually, every year we do that at the same time, both fall and winter at the same time. However, this year, because of COVID-19, the winter timetable has been delayed. So unfortunately, there is no specific date at this time. However, we will notify you, and you can also find that information on your My Info account. So please just stay tuned, and once winter 2021 registration is open, you will be notified.
Awesome. And then I'll pass it over to Sue to speak to the same question.
From my understanding, the same applies to graduate studies.
Okay, thank you. I assumed as much, but I just wanted to clarify for sure. And then I'll pass over to Patrick Carr, who is going to answer a few other questions related to admissions as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. We have just a quick question about the Duolingo test scores required for a Bachelors of Commerce program. So Lakehead University is temporarily taking the DET, the Duolingo English test. Our minimum score for the DET is 110. So that's the minimum score you need for the Duolingo English test. In addition, a student asked, when should I apply for my study permit, given the uncertainty surrounding the CBSE grade 12 exams in India? Should I apply through the Student Direct stream? So I would encourage all students that they should be applying for their study permit soon. I don't want to give you advice whether you should apply for the standard study permit or the study direct stream, as that they are both valid methods of applying for a study permit, and it really depends on which criteria you have and if you meet the SDS versus the standard method. I think you should consult with the Canadian Immigration website. However, I would encourage you to start your study permit application, no matter which stream you take, as soon as possible. Get your application in the queue. The Canadian government is accepting applications online, and you can start your application online. And I would also invite you, as Jordan mentioned yesterday, we had a great webinar with our immigration advisor. I would encourage you to sit down when you have a minute and watch that. It'll be up on our YouTube soon, I expect, and there's probably a lot of great content in there from Jen, our immigration advisor here at Lakehead University.
Definitely, yeah, and thanks for mentioning that, Patrick. So the video is already on our YouTube. So our YouTube channel is just simply Lakehead University. If you head over to our playlists, you'll notice two playlists that are focused for our international students. One is just Lakehead International, and the other is Lakehead International Lives. And that, of course, references the live series that we're hosting today, and we've been hosting for a few months now. The recording to that session with Jennifer Hay is already up on there. It was an hour-long session. We dove into quite a bit of topics. We answered quite a bit of questions as well, but most importantly, at the beginning, she shares her screen and walks through the IRCC website and kind of walks through the very basics of applying and beginning that online application. And I think the key message there is the fact that the application to apply for a study permit is online and can be completed from the comfort of your own home. So even though we know VACs are closed right now in many countries, you can still complete that online application, and immigrations officers are still reviewing applications. Another note there is the fact that biometrics, we know that students aren't necessarily able to get biometrics completed right now. We are starting to see some countries open up with limited opportunities to complete biometrics. But something that a very positive message we've heard from the federal government of Canada is that no visa applications will be refused because there have been no submissions to biometrics. Of course, we're advocating for some positive outcomes with biometrics. If you're not able to complete them, maybe there might be a course or a track to then fill them in and complete them once you actually arrive. But again, right now the federal government still requires biometrics, but they have acknowledged that they won't refuse applications if you do not have them when you originally apply. And we of course want to encourage students to, as we say, get in the queue for that application and begin the visa process. Right now, for example, India is 11 weeks in processing time. So that's just in time for the start of the fall semester. So we do encourage applications to start going forward as soon as possible. The next question we have is for student graduate studies. It is, when will the results for Masters of Science in Computer Science application be announced for September 2020 session?
Thanks, Jordan. It's my understanding that they will have an answer on their application by the end of this month. So by the end of June, the program is doing their utmost to get through all of the applications so that everyone has an answer by the end of the month.
Awesome, and I know that that program is extremely popular, so I know that they have plenty of applications to consider going forward. But it's great to hear that they've committed to trying to achieve sending out all offers by the end of the month. If you do need to connect with any of us directly, so whether you want to connect directly with computer science or graduate studies, if you have more questions, I absolutely encourage you to do so. Graduate studies email is on the screen there if you would like to be connected with computer science. So you can also use the email at the bottom, welcome@lakeheadu.ca. That is International's main email, and we'd be happy to make that connection for you. So we've actually addressed all the open Q&As right now. So once again, I'll remind our viewers, if you do have any questions for either undergraduate admissions, graduate admissions, international enrollment in general, or just Lakehead in general, please use the Q&A to submit those. If you're over on Facebook, you can use the comments, or if you're watching this as a recording, once again, you can absolutely comment on that recording, and we'll be happy to address it as soon as we get that notification. In the meantime, I would like to chat about something that we have a really great resource on our website. It's the COVID-19 resources page for all students and all faculty and staff actually as well. The link is on the bottom of your screen, lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus. If you visit that page, the resources that I'm referencing is actually the FAQ section, so the frequently asked questions. So these questions are the ones that over the past 2 to 3 months we've been receiving a high volume of course, and we know that our common questions, given the timing of your application, your journey to Lakehead, and we've worked with all of the departments within Lakehead as well as our senior management team to develop a really robust FAQ section. So many of the questions that we've been receiving, of course, have been addressed and have full answers on that page already. There might also be questions that you may not have considered but are going to be upcoming, and you might not have the opportunity to join us for a live for a couple of days. So I always encourage you, in the meantime, head over to that website, explore the open questions right now. If you have any more though for us, so whether it's again about your journey to Lakehead or to an admissions question, please connect with us directly by email as well, and we'd be happy to address that. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, Natalie, but I know we were just talking before the session started about a new university seminar course. Would you be able to chat a bit about that if you have a bit of knowledge? I know you're a part of the enrollment services team, and I just recently learned about the course, so I'm hoping to be able to kind of advertise it slightly on today's session, if that's okay.
Sure, I am definitely by no means an expert, but we can absolutely share the link with the students. So I believe this was just yesterday, the university did announce that we will be offering a 4-credit university seminar that will be running from July 20th to August 14th for 4 weeks. So this is a great opportunity for students to be in a small group, obviously online. It's a discussion-based course that provides a great introduction to basic academic skills, such as writing research, citations, effective study skills, and learning strategies. The great thing about this is it is 4 credit, so this can be used as an elective in most programs. Most programs do have an elective. Another benefit to this is there is no cost to this course if you are planning on enrolling in the fall and winter semester. So the course has no additional fee to it. However, if your registration for fall winter changes and you are no longer enrolled at Lakehead, you will be required to pay the tuition for that course. But this is a great introduction to university. We know that the fall will definitely look a little bit different for most students. So this is a great way to get your feet wet and have that opportunity. So I can definitely share that link with everybody. And then I also mentioned before too, the university also did just release the delivery method for the fall. So you can look and you can see your faculty and you can see the delivery for your courses for the fall semester. And some programs have also provided a little bit information about winter 2021. However, that information is still pending. So I will provide both of those links in the chat for everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Natalie, for chatting about that. I know I put you on the spot, but I'm happy that you were able to introduce that university seminar course. Something I would also like to echo is this is actually a course that's going to really help prepare you and give you a good taste to what online learning is going to be like, but it sets you up for the fall semester. So with a 4-credit course, for example, if you have an open elective that you're looking to fill for the upcoming academic year, this is a great opportunity to fill that elective and begin early. So then you can actually lighten your course load. And that's something that, of course, given the opportunity back in my undergrad, I'm sure I would have loved doing, just simply because it would have given me the opportunity to lessen my course load throughout the school year, where I'm doing majority of my courses, of course. But I think that also speaks to the fact that while getting that benefit of it being that you won't have a significant course load, or you'll be 1 credit less this fall or this winter, you were also gaining so many skills that are going to prepare you to be most successful in your courses this upcoming academic year. Another question we received from Victoria is, can you please talk more about the process of registration and dates? So I will actually pass this one off to Natalie also, and then I'll have Sue follow up for graduate studies. So could both of you speak to, again, the process for course registration and any applicable dates if that's already been released?
For sure. For the undergraduate level, Victoria, if you are an undergraduate student, the timetable is going to be released tomorrow. So that will give you an idea of the type of courses that you will be required to do and the type of learning you would be expected. So you can get a better idea tomorrow, and then registration will open on Saturday. So you'll be able to register for your courses on Saturday. If you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to register for FastPass. FastPass is done through our Student Central office. Our Student Central office will provide you all the information you need on how to register for courses. It's a great way to get a crash course on how to register. Also, if you haven't accepted your offer already, I would encourage you to do so. If you haven't accepted your offer, you won't be able to register. However, if you have accepted your offer, you will receive an email on Friday notifying you that you are eligible to register and can register on Saturday. So for anyone listening, if you are an undergraduate applicant and haven't accepted your offer, but are looking to register on Saturday, you will need to accept that offer first.
Awesome, and then I'll pass it over to Sue to chat about course registration. Just before that though, I will mention that Natalie did put the link in the Zoom chat for the university seminar course, so you can learn more about that. And I also just put the link in for the fall 2020 term delivery details in there. So if you head over to the Zoom chat, you'll see both links there if you want to learn more about the delivery method or learn more about the university seminar course. But I'll pass over to Sue now to speak to the process of registration and any applicable dates for graduate students.
So for graduate studies, it's just slightly different from undergraduate studies. We have a different date for registration. So July 13th, graduate students will be able to start to register for their courses. However, to know which courses you need to register for, you do need to contact your graduate coordinator. I do think oftentimes you should get an email to your Lakehead email address, because some graduate coordinators are kind of ahead of the game and they will let you know what to register for. Or your supervisor, if you are in a thesis program, they can also help you out generally as well. So just remember July 13th for graduate students. So do not be concerned if something happens and next week you try to register and you're a graduate student and you can't. It's because it will not be open for you until the 13th of July. Unfortunately, if you email gstudent@lakeheadu.ca, we will not be able to help you register for your classes unless you have some sort of a technical problem that's helping you, like that's stopping you from being able to do that. You do need to get in contact with your graduate coordinator. I will put in the chat the link to find out who your graduate coordinator is. We do have a list on our webpage of the supervisors and graduate coordinators.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. And I think something I'd like to echo that I heard you mention was that graduate coordinators will most likely connect with any students joining in the upcoming session via their Lakehead email. And that's really important that I mention that it's a Lakehead email. Oftentimes professors at that point do not have access to your personal email that you used on your application. And so as of already, they could be communicating and coordinating efforts over on your Lakehead email, but we do know that sometimes applicants have trouble accessing their Lakehead email, or they haven't yet logged in, or maybe they've lost their login details. It's something that we always like to stress is the fact that getting onto your MyInfo account, accessing your email account, and just staying aware of anything that's going on within that environment of MyInfo and my email. We definitely encourage you to do that as soon as possible. If you're in undergraduate studies or graduate studies, either one, if you've lost your login details, if you've never logged into your MyInfo, if you don't have access to your email, I do encourage you to connect with us directly and we'd be happy to assist you in that process. I know that we have already resources on our page for any students that maybe have lost their details or haven't received their acknowledgement email. But of course, again, we're always happy to connect with you if you do need to, if you do need us to walk you through that process. And I see that Sue already put the graduate coordinator information links in the Zoom chat, as well as the directory for faculty and staff. So we do have an entire directory that includes all of our names on there, of course, but more importantly in this case, all of our faculty and staff contact information and names. So if your program requires you to connect directly with someone, we encourage you to use either one of those links to do so. So another question we have, and this one will be for Natalie, what are the registration deadlines for undergraduate programs? So we've talked about when they're going to open and when we'll see students start to register, but another important question and a great question is, when will we close that registration process?
Sure, that's a great question. So our registration, the last day to add courses will be 2 weeks after the first day of classes. So that's our add drop period, is that first 2 weeks of classes. So it will be mid-September, will be technically the last date to add a course. However, it's important to know that courses do fill up. So if you are planning on attending Lakehead in the fall, in September, I would encourage you to register as soon as possible, because the later that you register, the less chance you have to get into some of those desirable courses.
For sure, and I mean, I can speak from experience. Of course, if you're entering a program and there are specific course requirements that you absolutely must take this fall, you will not be limited to not taking those. But when it comes to electives, or if you get to select between a variety of set courses for this upcoming term, that's where you might run into the issues of students not being able to get the course that they really, really want to, simply because they delayed their registration process. So again, to reiterate, we certainly encourage you as soon as the registration opens and you are eligible to register. So there are a few steps leading up to that to be eligible to register, but then completing that registration. And I know Natalie also posted in the Zoom chat a link to the FastPass information session on how to register. And that link's in the chat once again on Zoom. So if you head over there, head over to that website, it gives you a breakdown of what to expect during the FastPass sessions, but also just the links in general to register for them and start that process in general. So once again, I'll remind our viewers, we don't have any open questions right now. So we would certainly be open to more questions. We still have a bit of time here. If you're on Zoom with us, you can use the Q&A function. If you're over on Facebook Live, you can comment on that video. And if you're watching this as a recording, you can also comment on there. We will receive the notification after the fact, of course, and our Lakehead experts behind the scenes will certainly answer your question as soon as possible. So diving a bit more into the fall 2020 term delivery details. I know Natalie already, myself actually, I posted that link in the Zoom chat, but something really exciting is that these details actually fully outline the delivery methods for each and every course. And it is organized by faculty to begin with, and then it does break down each program within that faculty. So if you're curious to know some of the definitions you might see in course codes, some of the special notes or special cases or special circumstances, that link will help you learn more about the delivery method. So the next question I have is going to be for Sue. Can Masters of Science in Computer Science students register for their own courses, or will grad studies register for them?
Last year, I know that the computer science students were registered by Enrollment Services manually. I'm not sure at this time. I think there's still discussions about what's happening. I don't know if Charisse is still here and she can speak to that. She may have more information than I do on that one.
Awesome. I'll head over to our panelist chat. So we do have another question. It is with regards to first term assessments. So I'm assuming that the student would like to know a bit more about midterms, tests, final exams. I'll ask the student, Nisha, if you could actually clarify your question a bit more. Just give us some more details about what specifically you're looking to learn. I'm sure that one of us can happily answer, or at least connect you with the proper team member to answer that question. So we have another question. Where can I find the link for the timetable for fall 2020? So as Natalie mentioned, that timetable is not yet published. It will be going live on the 18th, which is tomorrow. And you will be able to find that. Give me 1 second here. I know it's in a central location within our website, but I'll get you there. I'll walk you through. So if you want to write this down, I'll do a step-by-step. So if you go to lakeheadu.ca, that's our main web page, of course. And then at the very top of the page, you'll see a few different buttons. One says students, one says faculty and staff, and another says alumni. If you click the students tab, that's actually the main resource for current students and incoming students, of course. And then if you scroll down there, the first thing that you'll see is academic success. And there's quite a few academic related links listed in there. The second last link there is timetables. If you click on that, it will bring you to another page where you must declare then if you're looking for course timetables, exam timetables, and then if there's any campus specific timetables. For courses itself and for the registration process, you're going to be looking for the course timetables. Once you click that link, it will bring you to another page. It gives you a bit more details about the upcoming registration process, and then also asks you to clarify further whether you're interested in joining Lakehead Thunder Bay, Lakehead Aurelia, or the Lakehead Georgian partnership at our Barrie campus with Georgian College. So I do hope that helps. For those students in our Zoom webinar, I will also post the link to that right now.
Hi, Jordan. Just jumping back to that, the registration question. It sounds like we are going to find out hopefully next week about computer science and how they are to register. And I assume that that information will go out to the Lakehead emails so the students are aware of what's going on. Also, if anyone's looking to defer to the winter term, the deadline is June 28th, so that's coming up quite quickly, and that is a very hard and fast deadline. So if you're on the fence still and you're thinking about deferring to the winter term for your program, and it is still available in the winter term, June 28th is the hard and fast deadline.
Awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying. And I know that we did receive a few questions on yesterday's study permit webinar regarding that that deadline of June 28th and whether that deadline is flexible at all. So just to clarify, Sue, is there any flexibility with that deadline?
There is no flexibility with that deadline.
Okay, I assumed as much, and of course we have that set up so that we can properly prepare for the upcoming semester and know exactly which students will be attending. So for those students who might be considering that deferral or looking to the idea behind deferring versus applying for that study permit and attending for this fall, if you do have any questions regarding your study permit, if that's what's delaying you, I do encourage you to head over to our YouTube channel and watch yesterday's session with Jennifer Hay. It is called Canadian Immigration Study Permits for New Students, or New Student Study Permits. One of the two titles. We flipped back and forth between that title quite a bit before we launched it, so I'm not quite sure exactly what it's called. But you'll definitely see it. I know that the thumbnail is a Canadian flag, if that helps at all. So again, we don't have any open Q&As right now. So I'll give it a few minutes to see if we receive any. Otherwise, I know that we do have the ability to wrap up today's session early. However, I wouldn't want to do that prematurely if students are still waiting to submit their questions. So again, if you do have questions for either one of us, undergraduate admissions, graduate admissions, international, Lakehead in general, please do submit those as soon as possible so we can address them before we wrap up today's session. In the meantime, I would like to chat a bit about some of our social media channels and how you can stay connected with us. I know on this new virtual and online reality that all of us are coping with and living with, staying connected on social media and learning about some major updates and important announcements out of the university is really important. Of course, our most significant announcements are always communicated via email. So rest assured, we're always trying to connect with you and provide you the most up-to-date information. But we're also on Facebook, so Lakehead University International is our Facebook page. On that Facebook page, we also have a group, and the group is called the Incoming Class of 2020 for Lakehead University. On that group, we have over 300 members already who will be joining us in 2020, and great conversations are happening. So I've seen students that are meeting future classmates, so students that are joining the same program and they're helping each other through the process. I've also seen people meeting friends back home, so they don't even realize or recognize that there's students within their exact same city that are applying and joining Lakehead this fall. And so they're making these connections, which is great to see. And furthermore, one of the other common ones that we've seen is roommates are starting to pop up, and where students are looking to find some roommates to rent a house off campus or submit an application to our on-campus residence and have a roommate group already set up. If you're a bit confused about that roommate setup or that on-campus residence application, don't you worry. Next Monday, we'll be meeting up with Michelle Denton, Residence Life Coordinator, and she will be walking through that online application for residents on campus. She is based in Thunder Bay, but we are going to cover both Lakehead Aurelia and Lakehead Thunder Bay. If you are a student who is pursuing a Lakehead University and Georgian College partnership program, so one of the 4 programs over there, that session about applying to residence won't cover those details. But if you want to connect to us directly at welcome@lakeheadu.ca, we'd be happy to then connect you with the proper residence team over there at Georgian College. So another question we have, and I'll see if Patrick would be able to answer this one. Do I have to pay my ancillary fees and insurance fees?
Yeah, thanks for this question, Jordan. I think I would first ask the student to if they could provide us more detail, that would be great. It depends on your situation. When it comes to insurance fees and all of those fees, ancillary fees, Lakehead University is committed to working with students to ensure that they're not paying for services that they're not going to be using. So if they are not coming to campus this fall and studying online from their home, then they may not have to pay certain fees. However, there is the potential that students could study online from in Canada. There is the potential that students could be taking some courses potentially. There's all these different scenarios that are coming out, and so it really depends on your unique situation. I would encourage you that if you have questions about which fees you should and shouldn't be paying and your insurance fees, to reach out to us directly at Lakehead or welcome@lakeheadu.ca, and we'll connect you to our international accounts officer, Chris Gallinger, and he can clarify any questions you might have.
I do know that our senior management team here at Lakehead is currently reviewing with our Lakehead University Student Union the exact ancillary fees that Patrick was talking about, and seeing which ones might be applicable to students in a variety of different situations and what they might have to pay. So whether they might have limited in-person opportunities or lab opportunities compared to students that would be in a fully online mode of delivery. Another question we have, and this will be for student graduate studies, is when will engineering master's decisions be made? So I don't know if we have any clarity from the Faculty of Engineering or any word as to when we hope to hear more about the admission decisions.
Rolling admission decisions have been happening. So there are a few applicants who do not have a decision, and many of them are just made recently. So I do expect most decisions to be made by the end of the month. However, because we are working with an online kind of forum, we are still accepting applications. Admission decisions are still going out. So it's kind of just an ongoing process at this point in time. We don't have a firm deadline as to when every single decision will be made, because they keep on coming in as the application still remains open.
Of course, and also speaking to any students, whether you're undergraduate or graduate, if you've applied already and you haven't heard back from Lakehead, and it's been maybe a significant amount of time, I would certainly encourage you to go into your MyInfo account and review if you have any outstanding documents for your application. That can be a common mistake that students miss, that they don't realize that they haven't submitted a document that we're waiting on, and that document could be the one thing that's holding us back from being able to provide you with that offer of admission or letter of acceptance, or at least an answer to your application. I know that our undergraduate team certainly communicates when there are missing documents via email, but once again, you can also do that on your own time, and you can do that by visiting your MyInfo account and reviewing the applicant tab. So another question we have, this one will be for Natalie. Can I apply for a Bachelor's of Education 2-year program as a student who's completed their bachelor's already?
Hi, thank you so much for your question. So our 2-year Bachelor of Education program is for those who have already completed an undergraduate degree. For those applying for our Bachelor of Education program, we do require an assessment done by World Education Services. We do require a course-by-course assessment by WES, which is World Education Services, so that they will assess your document to determine the equivalency in Canada, and we will use that to make the decision regarding an application to the Bachelor of Education program. In addition to this, all applicants to the Bachelor of Education program do need to apply through the Ontario University's Application Centre TEAS application. And so if you are considering applying, I would just encourage you to submit that application as soon as possible, as those applications can close at any time, and the WES assessment does take a little bit of time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying, Natalie. And to this student also, I want to chat a bit about the fact that we recently met up with the Dean of the entire Faculty of Education, Dr. Wayne Melville, and it was a great conversation we had. We chatted about both undergraduate and graduate programs. And in this case, this is considered a professional program or still within the undergraduate realm. We refer to it as the consecutive education program. And that can be completed in the 2 years that you mentioned also. So if you want to head over to our YouTube channel, you can watch that full webinar with Dr. Wayne Melville and the Faculty of Education, learn about some of the unique learning opportunities, how we have our students working within the local communities and the classroom environment, getting that really important hands-on experience and placement opportunities. But I certainly encourage you once again to head over to our YouTube and get a full knowledge of that. If you do have questions about your application or admissions in general, I encourage you to head over to our website and refer to the details listed on there. If you have any very specific questions or need help in the process, of course, you can always connect directly with our international admissions team, and their email is listed on the screen right now. We do have another question from a student who expects to receive their CBSE grade 12 exam results in India this upcoming July and August. They've let us know that they plan on registering for courses and applying for their student visa upon those results being released. And to that student, I certainly encourage you to head over to our YouTube channel and watch yesterday's session with Jennifer Hay, our international and immigration advisor, and we chatted about a question very similar to this and what our recommendations are that reflect results that might be delayed. We are actually still encouraging students to submit their application for their study permit and their visa, and upon that you can actually explain directly to your immigration advisor or the immigration officer that you anticipate that results will be coming in July and August. And upon those results arriving, you can then update our immigrations team with that. Again, if you head over to our YouTube though, Jen puts it in a much better phrase than I may have just now. So we do have a question, can we arrange a webinar with the Masters of Education faculty for those who have applied for the same? So we already actually did a webinar for Faculty Friday with the entire Faculty of Education, and that was with Dr. Wayne Melville. I don't believe that we'll be arranging another webinar directly with the Masters of Education, but I do encourage you at this point. I know Dr. Wayne Melville mentioned that all of our faculty and staff within that faculty itself are certainly happy to answer questions, address concerns, connect with new students. And so if you want to connect directly with any of our faculty members, they might even be willing to have a personal one-on-one meeting with you. Of course, you have to send them that request on your own, so I encourage you to do that on your end. You can visit lakeheadu.ca, and then there is a faculty and staff tab where you can see our directory. Once you're on our directory, all you have to do is sort by the Faculty of Education, and it will list all of their contact details. So that does wrap up all of the open questions we have. We still have a few minutes here until the end of the session. If we don't receive any questions, I will end it early though. So if you have any that you're waiting to submit, please do so now. Otherwise, I'll continue chatting a bit about our social media channels. So we are also on Instagram. Lakehead International is our Instagram handle. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we do a Instagram live with a current student or an alumni. And so yesterday, of course, we replaced our Instagram live with the immigration webinar because we know that it's a hot topic right now and it's a concern and students have plenty of questions. But tomorrow we will be back on Instagram Live with Sharon. Sharon has been at Lakehead for, I believe, 6 years now. She did her undergrad within Natural Resources Management and Environmental Management. And then she completed her master's in forestry as well. And so she's still in Thunder Bay, and she's willing to join us and chat about her experience, whether it was academic-wise or also student life with her involvement in the Chinese Students and Scholars Association, as well as living on campus throughout her education. And for most of her journey at Lakehead, she lived on campus, as well as her off-campus living experience. And we're going to chat all about that and her involvement with Lakehead. We're also on Twitter, Lakehead INTL, so you can head over there and check out some of our tweets. Typically, we're tweeting about some upcoming virtual events or live webinars such as today. We're also on YouTube, and I've mentioned this quite a number of times now, but there are 2 international specific playlists. One is Lakehead International, and the other is Lakehead International Lives. the lives playlist is where all of our webinar recordings do end up. So I certainly encourage you to check out any previous recordings. We've met up with plenty of departments, plenty of faculties. We've hosted countless number of Wednesday weeklies. And of course, our meetups with our current students are on both YouTube as well as our IGTV account. And last but not least, we know something I always like to talk about, and I've developed this slide, so I've put it in there myself, is the opportunity that you can do a virtual campus tour. So checking out our campuses and actually getting to see the facilities, the learning environments, the surrounding nature, and interacting with that is really important and a huge part of the decision for deciding where you're going to pursue your next step of education. So if you head over to lakeheadu.ca/tours, you can actually complete that virtual tour at the comfort of your own home and also at your own pace with no appointment necessary. I know students are often concerned that a tour might start without them, and that's not the case. This tour is already pre-developed, and you can absolutely do it at your own pace whenever you feel free. So if you want to start today after this session and do maybe 15 or 20 minutes, explore some of the campus, and then come back and wrap it up tomorrow, that's all fine with us. You can certainly do that. And all you have to do is visit that very brief link, lakeheadu.ca/tours. I'm going to take one quick look back at the Q&A. Looks like we don't have any more Q&As that are open. So at this point, I think I will wrap it up and say thank you to all of our audience members for joining. We certainly discussed quite a bit today, and we introduced some new exciting opportunities such as FastPass, the fall 2020 term delivery methods, as well as most importantly, and I'd like to reiterate, the new university seminar course that is for credit and at no cost to students who will be joining us this fall. If you need more details, you can certainly connect with us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca or chatting us on any one of the social medias on your screen. Once again, thank you to our co-hosts and our special guests from undergraduate and graduate admissions, as well as Patrick, my co-host, for doing number, I don't know. I just actually calculated, I think today's session would be 56 for me. So Patrick is up there with me as well. And of course, our undergraduate and graduate admissions teams are right up there with a weekly webinar. So we want to thank them again for joining us. Otherwise, I will say bye for now, and thanks again for joining, folks.